Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're watching me from around the world. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Seun Akinoton Show. This is where we spark meaningful conversations on a range of life topics. We talk about leadership, career, business, family, and sometimes even politics. My name is Seun Akinoton, and I am your moderator and host for today. If you're here, I would encourage you to be a part of the movement. And peradventure, you're yet to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe right now. And also remember to spread the news and share with a friend. I see you all, so I would like to give you a shout out. If you can please leave your location as well. I always like to announce the name and the location so that our audience will know that this is a global platform. So let me read some of the comments that I see on the screen. Oluwakemi Opayemi says hello. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Olayemi Akinloton, Lawa Ololade, Shoboye Jotulokpe. Oh, she said I look so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for your kind words. I can't see you, but I'm sure that you're radiating and glowing as well. Olayemi Akinloton, good afternoon, Ma. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you have not shared this video, go ahead and share, and I will bring in our guests shortly. Yes, Oluwakemi Okpayemi is from Nigeria. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Our guest for today is Omobolanle Adeyemo, also known as Omoby. I'm sure some of you might know her. Maybe you know her from way back. Maybe you just met her. But I want you to stay tuned because you're going to hear from her, and we'll be discussing the power of living your dreams. So please, right now, join me in welcoming Omobolanle Adeyemo.
Hi. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Pleasure to have you on board. And how are you doing today?
I'm good. The weather is good.
The weather is good. Wow,
yeah, the weather is good.
Over
it's
there?
Sunny. It was snowing and then the sun has come out now, so the weather is
good. That is great. Thank you so much for joining us. Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself? What was growing up like for you, and what were your fondest childhood memories?
Okay. My name is Omobolanle Adeyemo, as people popularly call me Omoby. Omoby is my pet name from my dad, and that's because Omobolanle is also his name too. You know, he wanted me to be his he wanted me to be his last child because he was done with 3 children, whether they were boys or girls. So when they had me and I was the third girl, he was like, no, he's done. He always wanted his last child to be his name. So he gave me Omobolanle, and so I am Omobolanle Junior. But 6 years later, my brother was born. Yeah, so I am a quantity surveyor. I am also an author and a relationship counselor. Yeah, I live and work in Canada. And then growing up was quite beautiful, quite fondly, because I come from a very close-knit family. Yeah, and I recall that we were just the 6 of us at home, just myself, my siblings, and my parents. And my parents were career people, so I sort of enjoyed and loved the career side of life. I think that is where I got being a career woman from my parents, because they had stable jobs, and we were living well, and we were living at some point in my early years. I recall that we were living in a government quarters, and I recall that my mom used to put pressure on my dad to tell him to build our own house, so that because the deductions were coming from our own salary as a government worker. And so eventually in the late 1990s, we left and we moved to our own house. And then from there we went to the best of schools. We were basically just living comfortably. We were not super rich, we were not poor neither. We were just very comfortable. My parents could afford the basics, and because of their stable jobs, I saw my mom and my dad growing in their careers, and doing basically well in one thing about my family is that, like I said earlier, we were very close-knit. So my parents ensured that, because my mom especially didn't have a close-knit relationship with her siblings, so she ensured that we, the 4 of us, we are very close, and that's why With my sisters, I do not joke with my siblings. I do not joke at all with my siblings. We are very, very close. My husband still jokes that I am always doing baby with my sisters and with my brother. And we have a group on WhatsApp where we do all our baby and you understand?
Is your brother
Yeah.
part of the group?
Yeah, it's part of the group. Yeah. We
Okay.
have a group for the girls, the stickable girls, and we have a group that excludes him because
Ah,
sometimes we don't want the boys to hear.
that's partiality.
No, it's not. It's not because he's close to his mom too. So
To his
sometimes,
mom or
yeah,
our
exactly.
mom.
To our mom, exactly. So sometimes he goes to do Beboro outside us, and we're like, okay, we can actually exclude you if you want
Okay.
it anyway. So then we have a group for the six of us, we have a group for the four of us, and we have a group for the three of us. So it depends on where you want the gist to go to.
I
Yeah. So
understand.
basically, we are very, very close knit, and yeah. I recall also when my elder sister got married. I remember that in the dining table, because the dining table is a dining table of six, and when our seat was empty, all of us would just look and would just be like, "Ah, we are missing our call her. She'll be gisting us about school." My second sister and I would just be like, "Ah, when are we going to enter unit two and be enjoying life in quote now?" Like she
Oh,
was enjoying. So when my second sister left the house too, I remember it was me that cried, and I felt it most because. And when I got to work the following day, my colleagues were asking me, Omobi, what is wrong with you? Did anybody die? I said, no, my sister got married and then the house is empty. That room is empty and I miss her so much. I said, oh, Omobi, sorry, that's how it is. But it was like my first experience. And because we all grew up, the six of us all grew up together as,
together.
yeah. So having somebody leave the house was really, 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 really painful. Yeah. So basically growing up was really fun, was lovely and quite interesting. Yeah. That's.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's good. A lot of people will not have the similar story like that, and
Mhm.
it tells a lot when you have good childhood,
Yeah.
household where you have your mom, your dad, and your siblings. And it's
Yeah.
funny how you said you were actually crying when your sister
Because
left the house.
I cried. No, I
Oh,
recall. I cried so much. I cried to the extent I had to write it on a Facebook group I belonged to because I wanted to know how to cope. I wanted to know how to adjust. I wanted to know if people had faced the same. It's because it was looking so strange. That's when I have somebody that my sister that was so close to me, and every day I wake up, I cannot see her in my bed. I cannot see her. I cannot go to her room. I cannot easily call her.
did you
It
cry
was.
when you were getting married too? When you had to leave the
Ironically, I didn't cry because I was
house?
already used to it. I already had some experience with my sister, so I didn't cry. Besides, I'm the last girl, so I was like, but my mom says that she misses our girls, and I
Oh,
always tell her that okay, you wanted us to get married, now we've gotten married now, so hope your eyes are cleared now. She be like, she knows, she knows. I said, okay, you still have your boy with you. She was like, yeah, yeah. She's grateful she still has him with her. I said, okay, one day it will leave the house. I
you
hope you
leave
know,
the
and you're ready
house.
for that.
Oh, that is so sweet. That is so
Yeah.
sweet. It looks like some people know you here. Someone is saying, Omo
Okay.
B, Omo Papastical,
Yeah.
Mamastical.
Yeah, because during my wedding, my dad cried, and
Oh,
it went viral. And people were like, "No, you are your dad's favorite." I was like, "No, no, no. My parents never had favorites." That's also one thing I like. I am upbringing about my upbringing. I never, if they had, I never saw the favoritism in any one of us because at the beginning of the year, my parents will make a list and they'll say, okay, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And so if it is something they cannot achieve at the same time, they'll say, okay, it starts from my elder sister first, being the
yes.
firstborn, and then it
Mhm.
goes down to every other person. Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah. I remember when it was my turn, they asked me, "Mommy, what do you want?" And I was like, okay, I wanted to do my master's in the UK. And they were like, okay, done. We'll do that for
Okay.
you. Yeah. So yeah, so it's I never
Oh,
saw maybe I think my dad cried because maybe he realized that was his last daughter and the next marriage will be where he will be bringing somebody into the family, not where he will be giving
exactly.
somebody out. So, and then my
Oh,
dad is an emotional person. Being a medical doctor is very empathetic. He cries when he
wow.
watches movies. So
Mm.
I can understand when he's crying because I was living.
Oh,
And then he cried for his two older daughters too. It was just that my own photographer was very, very on
social
point to
media savvy.
capture the moment. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's beautiful. So let's move on. You
Okay.
met your husband when you were at the University of where? Futa Federal
Yeah.
University of Technology,
Correct.
Akure,
Mm-hmm.
and you were together for 8 years before you got married.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the surprise part, but
Okay.
the surprise part is how were you able to hold on to each other? You
Okay.
know how people always say that relationships are hard work. Can you give us tips on how you were able to sustain the relationship for 8 years before marriage, and especially the fact that you both were celibate?
Okay. Okay, be proud to getting into a relationship. I would say that had already done my own homework. I was working on myself and just ensuring that okay, whoever I was going to get married to was going to be somebody that was worth it. I wanted to be good or be ensure that okay, everything that I needed to let go, everything I needed to learn was I had learned them, or things habits I needed to throw away. I had dealt with them at least to a reasonable extent. So in summary, I would say that I was really working on myself, and it's a surprise sort of, and I was able to get get what I got. Yeah, and also okay, I wanted to say something also. I read books as well. So these books exposed me to a lot of things I needed to know about dating, about choosing who to get married to, and all of that. Yeah, so it really exposed my mind to what values I should look out for, what principles I should look out for. And so when when we became friends in 2009, and he asked me out, yeah, it was easy because I'd already seen many of the principles and many of the values that I knew that I liked. I knew that I really wanted in my partner. And
Yeah.
also because we were friends, it was easy to understand and know him much more on a deeper level. Because, and also I think one thing that attracted me to him is his honesty. I don't think my husband can actually tell a lie. You rather tell the truth. So there was nothing I asked him that he was not truthful about. You understand? So, and because he was always truthful, when he says things about himself, there were things I actually like. When I asked him, okay, what do you think about a woman walking? What do you think about this and that? And he's like, okay, this and this and that. And there were things that had actually interested me, things that actually attracted me. I was like, okay, that actually makes sense. So we were actually able to sustain it because proud to dating. We both knew that we wanted to get eat it first and all. Like I said, because I come from a close knit family, I had older ones who would put their mistakes forward to me and say, Omobi, we have made these mistakes. God has made us your older ones for a purpose. So we are here for you. So we do not want you to make the same mistakes that we made. My sisters will tell me that, Omobi, you are a best version, you are a better version of us. And we are proud of you. That is what they always tell me. We are proud of you. So because I saw the mistakes they made, I saw my sisters having one heartbreak or the other, getting into a relationship too early, or something I knew that there were just some things I did not want to do. So because of that proud knowledge and having older ones who were very open with me, I knew that there were just some things that I cannot afford to make. And because my older ones were very open with me, I could not just make some certain mistakes. It would be very, very silly of me to have older ones who I can look up to and who are very reasonable and who serve as an example. And then I go on to make the same mistakes that they are making. You understand? Because I am not learning from their own experience. So yeah, so
Absolutely.
that really helped me in just dating the first person and ensuring and eating the jackpot. Yeah, because I had through their own experience, there were so many things I could put in place. That okay, my sister made the mistake in this. She didn't think of this before she dated. I must ensure that I think of this when I am choosing the person that I want to get married to. Yeah. So that's actually what helped me, and also sustaining the relationship sexually in that angle. Like I said, it's basically because prior to dating, so there were some principles or some standards I had set for myself before
Prior to
dating.
dating,
Yeah,
you
prior to
didn't wait
dating.
until you started the relationship.
No,
And
no.
what were some of the principles? Would you like to share?
Yeah, one of them was I was not going to have sex until I get married, and it's because I read a lot of books. I read Pastor Bimbo Odukoya's books. I read Miles Muro's books. I read TDJ's books. I read these books exposed my mind to lots of things I needed to know and lots of things I needed to do. Also, in resisting temptations or in resisting sexual temptation. So I remember one of Requiring's books telling me that when temptation calls you on the phone, you do not try and play with it. You have to hang up. So these were some of the principles that I put in place aside reading my Bible. You understand? So one of the things was that I remember Pastor B-Boy in one of our messages was saying that before you go into a relationship, set your standards. It is not when you go into a relationship, you now start saying, oh, I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want that. No, you would make mistakes and you will possibly fall. So there were just some certain things I could not just go below. And then also, because of my personality, I'm sort of stubborn, so to say, in that I can make up my mind to do something and go through it. I also came to understand that there are certain things that you cannot force me to do. You cannot make me to do something I do not want to do. And that really helps me in that if I do not want to set my principle below a particular standard, you can't force me to do it. So those were the things that I did. Yeah,
So
those were the
love
things I
can
did.
force you. Like if you know how a guy can go to a lady and say, you know what, if you truly
Yeah.
love me,
Exactly. No. Those
let
things
us.
do not move me. Exactly. Because one of Pastor Bimbo's books also explained, I think she said 10 different ways guys lure ladies to sex. So I knew all these tactics. They were always at the back of my mind. You understand? I know the particular book, I know the particular page that said it. You get, so I was always replaying it in my mind. So there was nothing you will say that I have not read or I do not know how to maneuver my way around. So yeah, so those were the things that I put in place. So our sexual purity journey was independent of each other. I had set my own even before I met him, and he too, he had also set his own before he met me. And like I said, my husband is a very honest person. So when I met him and I asked him, "This is my own journey. Oh, this is what's me. Are you game or you're not game?" And he was like, "Okay." He too, he has also set his own this way. I was like, okay,
Standards.
fine. Yeah, he has also set his own standards this way. And I was like, okay, fine. You can actually start dating. Yeah. So that's actually what sustained us. Also, one of the things that sustained us was that we had also known that we had chosen when we made up our minds to date or to start dating, we knew that we were choosing, he was choosing me and I was also choosing him. So we knew that in life you will definitely meet people that seem better than the person you have chosen.
Yes.
Yeah, you will meet. There's no way you will get married to somebody and you will not see somebody who is chubbier, somebody who is fatter, more pretty, more intelligent than the person you have chosen. You know, my husband is very intelligent. I brag that my husband is one of the intelligent men I have met, but I have met men that are more intelligent than him. I have met men that are taller than him, more handsome. So that is how life is. So, but you have to come to understand that when you choose one person, you choose that person for life. You've
And
made that
stick with
choice.
them.
It's a firm
Come what
decision.
may.
Exactly. It is a firm decision. It's not a decision you make haphazardly. It's a decision you make and you stamp your feet and say, okay, I get to you and it is you that I have chosen. So these are the things that I had read and known about. And when I chose him, I knew that I was choosing him. And I knew that, okay, it was him. But before I made that choice to choose him, I also ensured that his values and his principles were intact.
Align.
Exactly aligned with mine because I do not want to choose somebody and then I'm like, okay, because his values do not align. I will now, in my mind, I'll now be like, okay, because I've
You
chosen
have
you,
to
I now cannot.
compromise.
No, exactly. So, in as much as I knew that I had chosen him, I was also watching out for red flags. I knew what red flags to look out for. I knew them very well, very, 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 very well. Yeah. So those were some of the things that sustained our relationship
Relationship.
for that 8 years. And people ask me, like, why that long? We started early, really. We started in our third year in university. You get, and when we were done in university, we had spent how many years together? About 3 years together. And when we were done, there were certain things we needed to put in place for the future of our home. One of the standards we set was that none of us was going to get married if we had not done our masters. That was the minimum standard because
Okay.
we also had a goal in mind. We knew we were relocating, and we knew that the minimum standard to relocate was a master. So we knew that,
Masters.
okay, yeah, before you get married, you have to get the masters. Fortunately, I got my masters. My going for my masters in the UK was a present from my parents. So I got my own very early. So
Okay.
at the point we're now supposed to get married, he wanted to go for his own, but I had to be reasonable to wait because I knew that it was also a standard we had set. And it's really paid off because when we relocated to Canada, our master's degree paid us, and he was the principal applicant. His master's paid off eventually. Yes.
Eventually.
Basically, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. It seems like from all your responses and the points that you noted, it seems like you have a good control of who you are. You know who you are, you know what
Correct.
you want.
Correct.
There's this precision that I see from your responses. And this precision is something that we don't see in a lot of people.
Mm.
So I would ask you, when you're talking about standards, having minimum standards,
Okay.
how did you come to that point of
Okay.
setting minimum standards? I know you had already said you had older siblings and you
Yeah.
had good role models in your parents, and
Yeah.
you also read books. How
Yeah.
did you get started with books? Were you introduced to reading by your sisters? Maybe someone recommended it to you. Was
Okay.
it something that you heard about in school? Maybe one fellowship or the other that you have attended? Because I hear a lot of women say these days that they don't like reading. Some
Oh.
people don't like reading. Some people don't even like investing in themselves. So how did you become, someone says Omoby is an intentional person. How did you become an intentional person? Maybe someone that is watching right now, someone says that she's watching with her teenage daughter, and
Mm.
I believe that when we have teenagers, this is the moment that we are investing in them, and maybe there's something you can say that might help one person or two people to pick something from this session and be able to apply it to their own lives.
Okay. So you asked, how did I get to start reading? Yeah.
Yes.
My one of my elder sisters, one of my sisters likes reading. She's a book person. So she introduced me to books. I recall that growing okay, one of the things that helped us, one of the principles that we learned when we were growing up was saving. My parents would always ensure that we save. And one thing I love my parents for was that they would never take the money away from you. They would give you your money, whatever is accrued or whatever has been given to you by anybody, they will give it to you. So my sister will say, "Oh, mommy, why use your money to buy chocolate and sweet?" I have a very sweet tooth. My second sister still says, she still calls me sugar mouth. Oh, mommy, sugar mouth, sugar mouth, sugar mouth. So my elder sister will say, why buy chocolate and all those things? Why not buy book? Okay, just try it with the first book. And so I bought the first book and I loved it. I just had the feeling of having to hold a book, and I loved it. And I bought it. So she was like, "Okay, yeah, go on, go on, go on, keep buying books." And so that's how I really got interested in reading. And I will say that I also brought my husband into reading, because my husband is a visual person. He doesn't do much of reading. You get, but he reads anyways. But that's how I got to read. I had older sisters. I had an older sister who likes reading, and so she encouraged me to read. She encouraged me to use my money. She would say, "Okay, use a third of your earnings to buy books." And so I remember that in a month I would put a target. I'll say, "Okay, I'm going to buy 10 books. I'm going to buy 5 books." And I had friends. I had a friend in uni. I said, okay, maybe I never said that we were four. We were four in class, my husband, myself, and another friend, and two other friends of mine. That's a guy and a girl. And the guy amongst our clique, she was also a reader too. So when I met her, and she was also reading, so she spurred me to read more. She spurred,
Hmm.
and I love romance books. I used to read Mouse and Mills and Bones, but they were not helping me. They were very, very addictive, and they were not very,
Fantasy.
very good. Yeah, they were so unrealistic. So she said, "Okay, since you love romance book, why not go for the Christian romance? There's Karen Kingsbury, there's Francine Rivers. These are books that they are romantic books, but they are not so erotic like Mills
Hmm.
and Bones. You understand?"
Yeah.
So that she introduced me to those authors, and I enjoyed those books, and I started to read. So my sister, my friend, these people helped me to read, and with reading, I began to know that there were so many things I was learning. I had an interest in relationship and self development books. So there were so many things I was learning. There were so many things that was so new to me. I was really enjoying reading books. I was sharing books with people. We're always reviewing books. They were so being intentional. It was through reading I began to become intentional, because
Intentional.
the books the principles that I picked from the book that helped me to read. And one of the books I also read was Joy Austen's book. The first book I read of his was Your Best Life Now, and the book exposed me to a lot of things. So reading just helped me to become very intentional. It was through reading I got to know that you can't force somebody to do what the person doesn't want to do. It helped me to know that you can you can choose what you want your life to be. Nobody can
Yes.
choose that for you. So when somebody comes to meet you and say, "Okay, I want you to do this," or the person is advising you, if it is a wrong advice, you do not have to take it. You have the power to say no. You understand? So the power of choice. It was through reading I learned the power of choice. It was through reading I learned being intentional. It was through reading I learned red flags to detect in relationships. It was through reading. I remember that I swallowed Pastor Bimbo's books, 165 questions to ask. I know all the questions in my head as I am sitting down here, and I can recite them for you, because I so I would say that it was reading that helped me. So I'll say, if anybody is asking me, how do you become intentional? Develop an
Yes.
interest in reading. See, there's something about reading. The author is writing an experience of, say, 50 years. You are getting the experience in one book.
Book.
Yeah, which if you want to get the experience, you would spend 50 years to get what the author is writing for you.
Writing.
You cannot actually You do not
Quantify it.
life if you do not read books here, because reading exposes you to a lot of information that you may never get to know if you do not take that book to read. So
To read.
reading really helped me. And how did I get into reading was through my sisters and
Sister,
through my friends.
God bless your sister. And
Yeah.
I intentionally asked you that question because some people feel like certain traits come naturally. But you're
No.
saying that, someone said, oh, Omoby is an intentional person. Now
Mm-hmm.
you're telling us that that intentionality is not by accident. It's not
No.
something that came natural. It's not
No.
something you brought from heaven. It is
No.
something that you built over time
Correct.
through reading. Your
Yeah.
sister offered you the book. You had
Yeah.
a choice. You could have said no, but you decided
Exactly.
to say yes to read that book, to open the
Yeah.
pages, and then you
Yeah.
began to test for more. You began
Correct.
to say, you know what, I want to learn more. And
Yeah.
that's how, books have impact on our life. The moment you
Correct.
open a particular book and you read and you begin to expand your mind, it
Mm-hmm.
leads you to other things. And that
Correct.
is why I favor reading. Personal development is a big
Correct.
deal for me, and it's something I recommend for anyone that comes my way as well. So I'm really glad you said that. And I also like the fact that you said we have the power of choice. God has
Yeah.
each and every one of us that free will to make that
Correct.
decision. We
Yeah.
can either choose the good part or the
Yeah.
bad part. And whatever choice we make, we should all be satisfied with it.
Correct.
We all be satisfied with our choices. So we have the power of choice. We all have free will.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Now, I know some in the audience might be looking at you and saying, oh, Omoby had a good life. She was comfortable. She doesn't have any problems. That's why she's talking like this. Her parents provided for her. Can you imagine they sent her to the UK? So some people in the audience might be feeling that way. But I know that you've had your own shares of ups and downs, particularly in the place of employment. You said that you had been rejected at different employments in the UK, despite scaling through interviews. Can you share with us, for the benefit of those who might be in the same shoes right now, the steps you took during that period of rejection, and how did you overcome the rejection? It's very painful for you to apply to a job. You think that you're almost getting the job, and at the last minute, something happens, you're rejected. So tell us how people can overcome rejection. How did you overcome yours, and how people can overcome theirs as well?
Okay, one thing I recall that I did was that I separated the rejection from me. The rejection was not because of my performance. It was not because I was not good enough. It was because of one particular issue, because I did not have the legality to work in the UK. So it was difficult for them to employ me. Yes. So knowing that, it was very easy to say, okay, if I had the legality to work in the UK, it would have been easier to get the job. You understand?
Okay.
However, even when I was in Nigeria and I applied for several jobs and I did not get it, how was I able to overcome it? I got to realize that I can choose to be happy or I can choose to be sad. I can choose to brood over the rejection and not get on with in life, or I can choose to move on from it. And one of the fundamental principles I made up in I have personally is that if I fail anything, I am going to try it until I succeed. I'm going to keep trying and trying until I succeed. So when I was rejected in the UK, I tried the second time, I tried the third job. And what was at the fourth job, I got to know that, okay, the reason I am not being called back is for a particular reason. And knowing the reason helped me. It helped my sanity and helped me to know that, okay, it is not because of my performance, it's just because of this particular reason. But when I now got to Nigeria and I was now being rejected by jobs in Nigeria and being in Nigeria and all of that, yeah, I realized that, okay, it's that's what life is. Life consists of, there are some things you will get and there are some things you will not get. There are some things you will seek for and there are some things you will not get. So it's just life. And it also it's and knowing that, okay, I have the power to be sad or I have the power to be happy. So, and knowing that, okay, even when I fail at this thing, I must continue to pursue it until I get it. I had an example, somebody close to me. there was a particular thing that he did not get, and he failed an exam and he did not get it. He never went back to write the exam, and so it affected not just him, but everybody that came behind him. So I made up my mind. I know I was not going to, like I said before, I use people's examples or people's experiences to make my life better. I feel that God has made you pass through this thing for me to learn from it. Yeah, I will not see
the same thing yourself.
Exactly. I will not see your mistakes and go right there and make the same mistake. No, it's not possible. That's one thing about me too. So when I see mistakes of people, I realized that, okay, what was the reason why this person's life is not better? It is because he did not do this thing. And so when I wrote my professional exams in Nigeria and I failed it on my first sitting, even before I wrote it, I was like, Omoby, if I fail any of my modules, I am resitting it again. Nobody is going to motivate me. I'm not going to have anybody encourage me. I am encouraging myself. So it was an exam of 5 modules and I failed 2 out of 5. So I was not going to move to the next stage. I had to pass and sit and pass the 5 modules. So when I failed 2, I recall I was in South Africa. I flew back from South Africa to write the exam, bearing all the cost and everything, even though I was not supposed to travel because of the cost. But I said, no, I'm going to go back to Nigeria to write these exams. You understand? So these are the things that just help me to get on with life and help me to know that, okay, regardless of how life pushes me, I must continue to push for what I want to do. When I wrote my professional exams here in Canada, even before I registered, it had already been settled in my mind that if I fail my exams or if I fail my interview, I'm going to resit it. I'm going to immediately reschedule for a receipt. I'm not going to waste any more time. Fine, I may brood, I may cry and all of that, but in the end, I must not give up. I must not look, because I don't want to look back in 10, 20 years. And when I see my friends, they've moved on and I'm like, no, I never got to the peak of my career because I failed 1 or 2 exams and I never went back to write it. So yeah, so that's how basically I've been able to manage my failures as much as my successes too.
Wow, the power of choices and just the fact that you are able to self-motivate. Now, I would like to add that self-motivation is not something that comes naturally. It's something that we train ourselves for.
Correct.
And I think you've said the foundation, it's books. So if you are out there, if you are the type that don't like reading, maybe you can start with 1 book, start reading. It will open up your mind. It will expand your horizon. It will change your life drastically. Books are great. And like she said, someone that has lived for 50 years or 60 years and they put all that experience in 1 book and you are saying it's too expensive. You are not affecting that person. You are affecting yourself.
Exactly.
So if you are watching and you are the type that don't like reading, you need to start reading. If you don't like reading by yourself, there are a lot of book clubs out there that can help you. When you read books with other people, you become encouraged, you become motivated. So look for good people, surround yourself with good people and keep on reading. We're going to go on a short break now. And when we come back, we're going to talk about our relocation to Canada and also about feminism. I'm sure you don't want to miss this. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. back. If you are just joining us, this is the SA show. My name is Seun Akinlotan. I am your moderator and host. And with me today is Omobolanle Adeyemo. She's a quantity surveyor. She's a motivational speaker and also a relationship coach. Now, we're going to go into the second part of the session where I am going to be asking her questions about relocation to Canada and also about feminism. All right, Omobolanle, Omoby, welcome back.
Thank you.
A lot of people want to relocate to Canada.
Okay.
And Canada happens to be your own dream country.
Mm-hmm.
You're passionate about it. You're a bona fide Nigerian, and you're also passionate about living outside the country. Now you've achieved your dreams. You are basically living your dreams, and that's the country you call home. How did you develop a love for Canada? And in what specific ways has this country been good to you? Also, what tips would you like to share with those who want to relocate to Canada?
Okay, the first question is how did I develop my love for Canada?
Yes.
I would say Canada was not exactly in my picture of my dream country. Yeah, it was the UK. UK was my dream country, and that's one of the reasons why I went to study in the UK, because my parents were like, okay, go and write a list of 5 or 10 countries you want to go to. And I was counseling out. In fact, I counseled Canada because I just spoke to one friend and she said, no, they don't give study permits in Canada. She tried for masters in Canada and she was not giving. So I just slashed Canada. I put in Netherlands and you have to learn the language. And so I fell back to UK. And why was because I have cousins who are British citizens. Yeah, I talked about my parents being a close-knit family, and my dad, on the other hand, so he and his siblings are quite close-knit too. So he comes from a close-knit family too as well, and all of his siblings are British citizens. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to relocate, because I'm coming from a family where my dad lived in the UK for several years, and he did not legalize the status from studying or working to being a citizen. And he said at that time, you just needed to go to the student affairs office. You change your student card to a British passport. That was all you needed.
Back in the days, a lot of parents went back to Nigeria because it wasn't attractive then.
Exactly. So his younger ones did that. But 2 of his younger ones were born in the UK anyways, but the ones that were not born, they did that. But he loved Nigeria. He went back. He thought Nigeria would be good. And nobody blames him anyway, because people in that time thought that was going to be the picture, but unfortunately not. So having coming from a family where my cousins and aunties and uncles who are all British, and then they all come up for holidays, and you're the only one who is the different, you're the different person there, and then everybody's talking about their jobs, their career, and you're feeling sorry for yourself, because you know that if you were in a better country, you would definitely be doing exploits as they are doing. And in fact, 2 of my cousins are in the same field as I am, different professions, but different fields. And I saw the kind of jobs that they do, where they work, and I was like, why is my difference? It's just because I am in a country like this that doesn't encourage young professionals and all of that. So that was what actually started my my love to relocate out of Nigeria. And like I said, yeah, I wanted the UK, but I haven't tried, and that was not successful. I put that on hold. So if one of my best friends left in 2016 for Canada, and she told me that, Omoby, I do not know what happened. I just know that my husband applied, and there's something. I will ask him, but he says there's something that they call the express entry, blah blah blah, no. But I don't know what happened. I just know that he told me to submit my passport, and then I got visa in my passport and all of that. So I was like, okay, so I went to Google and I went to read, and I was reading about it. I came across Canada's eligibility link, and then I clicked on it. I went on it. I found out that, okay, my husband and I are eligible. Her courses are eligible to relocate. I was like, really? What are the things we need? We need to have a master's degree to get more points. I was reading these things and I was realizing, okay, what are the gaps that exist with either of us to to make it easy for us to relocate through this pathway. And I was like, okay, I already have a master's degree. My husband doesn't. Now, okay, if it will be, I also knew what principal applicants meant and all of that. You get, because of reading these things and all of that. So I said, so we both sat down together one of these days and we said, okay, because I told him, one of the things I told him, I said, see, guy, if you do not want to relocate, if your vision, or maybe God has told you in a dream that you are only called out for Nigeria, please, I'm not ready to marry you. Let's split now. It doesn't matter that we've dated for 8 or 10 years. It doesn't matter. Because me, my own vision and my own life, I'm seeing myself out of Nigeria.
Outside of Nigeria.
If you are seeing yourself in Nigeria, please let us end now. Yeah, and he was like, okay. Now, because he's a management consultant, not one of the big fours in Nigeria, having dealt with having working in the multinational, he knew what obtains too. You understand? He already knew those things, so he was like, okay, that's fine. It's a good idea and all of that. So we both knew the gaps that existed with both of us. We both knew that okay, he had to do his masters and all of that. If you be the principal applicant, he had to do a masters, and so we just knew that what we wanted to do, and then we did it. We ensured that we did it, and so when it was time for us to put pen and paper into place, I remember that was the year we got married, and so we had to put our plans again on hold again for some time because we had used up most of our savings. And so fortunately, when an opportunity came for us to leave Lagos and we moved to the north because he got a better job in the north, and it was going to increase our finances much more than what we were earning in Lagos. We were like, man, this is actually a door that God is opening, that please let us not waste this money. Let us not use this money to invest in Nigeria. Let us use this money to relocate. And so that was how we moved. So my love for relocating came from my family. Having seen my dad miss an opportunity that affected the four of us, I knew that I did not want to make that mistake. And I remember I wrote it one day. I was just thinking about it and I wrote it on Facebook, and my dad came on the post. My dad is he comes on Facebook to read my post, and he said, Omoby, I saw your post, so well done. When is your book coming out and all of that? So he saw the post and I was like, Omoby, I'm sorry I did not do this thing for you, but I'm glad that you and him, okay, I've done it for yourselves. Yeah, so that's basically what informed my choice of living. And Canada was not on my radar at all. Yeah, we chose Canada because we found out like there's actually a pathway that exists, and then we were eligible, and then we ticked off 90 or 95% of the things that was needed, and we found out that okay, it was possible for us to take this route. You get, and if it is not Canada, it can be UK. If it is not the UK, it can be Canada, or it can be the US. It can be, provided it is out of Nigeria. Yeah. And I think you asked the third question. Please, could you?
The third question was, what advice would you give to those who would like to relocate?
Okay. I wrote something down because I didn't want to forget. So I would say, if you want to relocate, have a very reliable plan. Many people just relocate. They just want to relocate and they do not have a plan for them. So when I mean a plan, draw a map of where you are and what you hope to do when you leave Nigeria. Fine, I know that plans will change. You may get to Canada and realize that, okay, what you thought was possible is no longer possible. But at least you have something that drives you. The common cliche says that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So do not fail to plan. We have to have something that you want to do. Are you going to be self employed? Are you going to go to practice what you were doing in Nigeria? Are you going to take up something totally new? Are you going to go back to school? Just have a reliable plan. Ensure that you have something concrete to hold on to, because you would always be able to go back to your plan to add and deduct, but at least something would drive you, something will spur you, something would help you to achieve your goal. And I say Canada is a land of opportunities. There are so many opportunities here. If you come here without any plan in your head or anything you want to do, you would be confused when you get here, because somebody will say, do this, you do it. Somebody will say, run to nursing. Nursing is where there is money, you run there. Somebody will say, run to IT. IT is where there is money, you run there. Somebody will say, go to school. And then you will just be everywhere without having a plan. So ensure that you have a plan when you're coming. Secondly, I would say, is be careful of your associations. Be careful of the people that you associate with. If you associate with people that are negative, people that are always talking down on how Nigerians do not get a job, how Nigerians, because of their accents, are not giving jobs, how life is hard, how and you have to be picking up many jobs is the only way to go. If you move with people like that, trust me, you would continue. There's no way you would move. You would have such associations and you would want to prosper. You want to do better. When we moved to Canada, we moved in with my big brother, one of my friends who is like a big brother to me. And guy is on top of his game. He has changed jobs like 3 or 4 times. And there was no way I could tell him that I wanted to pick up something lower than his expectations of me, because he'd be like, what? Omoby, is this what you came to Canada to come and do? So he was always spurring me, always encouraging me, always being positive. And there's a friend of mine said, Omoby, you're too positive. Sometimes your positivity is unrealistic. But I'm like, I would rather be positive and not achieve something than stay negative and be sad. So watch your associations. Yeah. The third thing is be careful. Okay, be ready to start again, or be ready to learn new skills. Yeah, there may be something you may have to start again. Yeah, I've had people who have to start again. Fortunately for me, because I come from a regulated profession in Nigeria, and the profession also exists in Canada, almost the same way. I didn't have to start again. For those who may be asking, I am a quantity surveyor. I work in the construction industry from Nigeria, and I came here to Canada, and I'm also a quantity surveyor. So you on the other hand may have studied courses like English, or study courses like, it's courses that are not very regulated, courses that you may have to pick up 1 or 2 skills, or maybe start all over again, or you may actually be looking at going into something different. Please do not be scared to start again, and do not be scared to learn new skills. Also, know that nursing is not the solution to your problem. Everybody comes to Canada, or almost everybody comes to the UK, and they want to be nurses. Please, if you are not cut out for nursing, do not do nursing. I have a friend who did nursing and she had to leave because she was not cut out for it at all. The work was too hard. She didn't understand many things in it. And then she spoke to me. I was like, don't worry about it. At least you tried it and you failed. At least you now know what you are cut out for. It just shows that you're
Yes.
not cut out for the health sector. So if you know that you're not cut out for the health sector, you're not cut out for nursing, do not go into nursing. I have another friend who is doing nursing. She's starting again and she's doing nursing, and she's doing fantastically well. Recently, she sent me a result and she's making 90s and 80s and she's doing well. So just to ensure what you are cut out for, know this, that nursing is not the solution to your
It's
problem.
not the only thing.
It's not the
Yes.
only way. If you are cut out for nursing, it is good. I have a friend who says that when I'm coming here, I'm coming to be a medical doctor. Whatever, she's in her late 40s, and she's like, Mobi, I'm coming to Canada. I'd always had a dream to be a medical doctor. And when I learned that is what I'm going to achieve. She's always had the passion to be a medical doctor, but the Nigerian system did not make it possible for her. She was given some other course instead of medicine, you understand, in Nigeria.
Yes.
And
Yes.
she thought that part eventually. But she was like, if I'm moving to a new country, I'm going back to my first love. Now, that's somebody who has a passion for medicine. So ensure that you have a passion for whatever you are going for. If you're going for IT, if you're going for HR, if you're coming to the construction industry, or you're going into the health sector, have a passion for whatever you're doing. Don't do head mentality and follow everybody that says nursing is the solution to all your problems. Then also be positive and encourage yourself. Life consists of the good and the bad. There are times you will be down, there are times you'll be up. So when you are down, ensure that you encourage yourself. There are times you will not get people to encourage you. There are times I do not get people to encourage me. There are times that I want to talk to a friend. My friend is not available. She's probably working. I want to talk to my sisters. They're not available, or something. You get so this or even my husband. I want to talk to him and he's not available. He's probably busy something. You understand? So you have to learn to encourage yourself, and you have to learn to stay positive. Yeah, also do a bit of research on the culture of where you are heading. Yeah, that's very, very important. I tell people that Canada, like coming to Canada, is like a different world entirely. Everything is totally different, from eating to sitting to speaking to standing to how you think, how you write, how you do this, how you do that. I had issues with learning the Canadian culture in my workplace. You get, my line manager told me that Omoby, they call me Moby, I'm called Moby at work. He said, Moby, you do not ask questions. So you make mistakes sometimes. Yeah, and that's because where I'm coming from in Nigeria, if you ask questions, you are taught to be a dullard. You get,
Oh,
but
wow.
they encourage you to ask questions.
Yeah,
So
I love people that ask questions. If you don't ask
exactly,
questions, it feels to me like you're not learning, you're not curious. So if you keep
exactly.
quiet, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
I grew
so
up in Nigeria, but I can't remember like I like people that ask questions. So if you don't ask questions, then it tells me that you're not curious or you're not present. You're not passionate about what you do.
Exactly. So I had to learn how to ask questions, even if in my head it's looking like I'm asking these questions 20 times over. You understand? I have to, because he told me, it was one of the things he said in my performance review, that Mobi, you're doing well, but you're just not. That is the only thing I need you to work on. Ask me, ask this person, whatever you're not clear, ask this person. Nobody is going to beat you for no. He said no question is stupid. Mobi, ask questions. So you have to begin to understand that this is the way the system works. Trash away Nigerian mentality and begin to put in the culture where you're coming from. Learn the culture, learn the food, learn everything. It baffles me that some people come to Canada and they still follow the Niger way. You don't even want to explore. You don't want to have Pakistanians as your friends. You don't want to have Canadians. You just want to follow you want to die in Nigeria. And I'm like, it's everything about your life in Nigeria. You just want to die in it. You don't even want to explore or have friends or learn about this culture, learn about that culture, be friends with Ghanaians. So you understand, make friends, fine. If you like the Nigerian community, I'm not saying you should not be friends with Nigerians, but as much as you're friends with Nigerians, ensure that you're also friends with other nationalities. Learn about the culture, what is obtainable in Canada, the things you need to trash, because there are some intentional things you need to try. You need to understand the credit system in Canada. Otherwise, when you come here, you will get confused. You need to understand the mortgage system in Canada. There are so many things you need to trash and begin to put in the Canadian system. Yeah, so those are the tips I will give to anybody relocating. Yeah, I hope it helps. Yeah.
Great tips. In fact, you've said everything. And I love how you said that learn the culture, because if you are in Rome, you need to behave like a Roman. And when you're a new person, all things have passed away. You've left Nigeria or whatever country you are from, and wherever country you're going to, it's wise to learn the culture so that you can blend in and integrate yourself.
Correct. Yeah.
Great. And thank you. Olayemi Akinotan says that we all can't be a nurse in America or Canada. We should look for the field we love and have passion for, not only because of the money.
Correct.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Now, let's go into feminism, because we only have 8 more minutes.
Oh.
Yes, so keep some things.
Okay.
So let's go into feminism. You identify as a feminist, and you actually said you were born as a feminist, right? So what is your definition of a feminist? And at what point did you realize that you were one?
Okay, my own definition of a feminist is somebody who advocates for women rights. Somebody who advocates that women be treated fairly as much as men are treated fairly too as well. Somebody who advocates that women be given the same opportunities as the male guys, as the male folks are given them same opportunities. Yeah, so that's my definition of feminist, and it is something I believe in and something I label or something I advocate for, that I want women to be given the same opportunities. As I do not want you as a woman to think that you cannot achieve this because you're a woman, or you cannot do this because you're a woman, or you cannot aspire for this because you're a woman. I want women to know that they can get the same opportunities as men do. And so your second question was about how did I identify myself as a feminist from childhood, right? Okay, it was just as growing up, we were given equal opportunities. Well, we're more girls than guys. My younger brother is the only male amongst us. But even with my dad, and you get when people say, is it not bothered that he doesn't have an older son? And I was like, no, it's fine. It doesn't matter to him. Yeah. So, but going through life and my experiences in uni and all of that, I knew that it used to hurt me a lot when I see women not aspiring to do things because they were taught, or they had been told that they could not achieve something. Yeah. And one particular thing that I recall was when I was in college, when I was in secondary school, I was the only female to take technical drawing. And technical drawing is a course, so to say, for guys. And everybody was applauding me and making me feel special about it. But I was not excited. I was like, I am expecting more girls to be in this class. Why am I the only girl? Why does
Girl,
it look like it is a big thing? Whereas it
girls
should
will
not
go
be
for
a big
home
thing.
economics.
Exactly. So it really did not excite me. It was, in fact, I was really sad that there were not ladies like me that were taking the course, and I was the only one that wrote it for junior work. So as I grew older, I came to realize that some of these things that hurt me, some of these things that I have further questions for, were things that identifies with the label called feminism. And that is
Feminist.
why, yeah, I call myself a feminist. Yeah, and that is why I attach or I identify with the label or with
But
the
some
movement.
people believe that, as you know, some people believe that Christians should not be feminists. And I know that you're a Christian, so I would like
Mhm.
to know your opinion about that.
Okay, it's funny because when they say Christians should not be feminist, I'm like, why? I see the life of Christ, who I identify, who I take after as a feminist, because in the Bible, Jesus advocated for the rights and for the privilege, for the rights of women. There were cases in the Bible where Jesus would Jesus would tell the woman to do this, to do that. I don't think there was ever a time in the Bible where Jesus made the guy much better, or made the guy look like he was better than the woman. And even the Bible says that male and female, he made them all. Fine. The man and the woman are different. We are different in our makeup and all of that. But nobody, in my own opinion, nobody is less, or nobody's higher in authority than the other. We are both different because of the purpose we've both been called to do. But I do not think that there should be one gender that should be higher or should be better than the other. You understand? And being a Christian, there are times where my beliefs clashes with my feminist beliefs, and in that case, when it clashes, I pick feminism against my biblical beliefs, because it's in this day and age, there it's just rational, it's just common sense that we are no longer living in the times of the Bible where women should not go to church, women should not do this, and women should not do that. Now women are doing exploit, and so I cannot begin to focus or begin to attach myself to those old biblical teachings, when this is different, when the world that we live in is totally different. Yeah, so if you tell me that a Christian should not be a feminist, I'm like, well, that's you. But me, I identify myself as a Christian and as a feminist as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Our time is fast spent.
Wow.
So I'll just say, let's project to the future.
Okay.
How do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What
Okay.
should we expect from Omoby in the near future?
Next 5 years should be 2026.
Six.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. The first thing on my list is I must be professionally recognized globally in the whole world.
Must
I must be
professionally be recognized
recognized, yeah,
globally in the
in the
whole
whole
world,
world, because
in the
there's a
whole universe,
certification I need to
everywhere.
do. Yes, that would make me recognized in the whole world, as in all the countries in the whole world. I have not gotten that. The one I have gotten is Nigeria and Canada, and some countries, and some countries in Canada, maybe about 16 countries. But I need to get a certification that makes me recognized in the whole
In the
world. So I
whole
need to
world.
get a certification. Unfortunately, the certificate I have in Canada gives me that privilege, but I can only get it after 5 years. So that
Okay.
is why I know that as long as God gives me breath, I will definitely automatically come to me in the next 5 years.
In the
So that
next
is
five
where,
years.
yeah, I see myself in 5 years. In 5 years, I hope to have another child, a boy. I want a boy
Amen.
because
You
I
want a
want,
boy?
yeah.
Why? I thought you want one of both.
No, I like same sex. I just like the same sex children. That's in my head. That's my perfect family. So when I see people that have two boys, I'm like, yes, that is what I want. Or two girls, I'm like, yeah, that's what I want. So if
Okay.
Dara Simi were to be a girl, I would have wanted a girl. But since it's a boy, I want another boy. So when people
Okay.
tell me that which sex do I want for my first child, I'm like, no, it is the second one that will determine. It is, you understand. So okay, for 5 years. So that's where I see myself. Then also I also see myself being more financially stable, being more financially independent. I still think that I've not gotten there financially. I still have to, when I have to buy something, I still have to think about it. I still have to, okay, well, can you afford it now? No, I want to get to that place where I
When
just
you have
like
to
this
think
thing.
about
I
it.
can buy it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just like this. I can buy. I like a range. I can buy a range. I like a Benz. I can buy a Benz. I like a house. I can buy it. I want to go on vacations with my friends. Just my friends alone. I can afford it. Yeah. So that's where I see myself in the next 5 years. Also, spiritually, I hope to get to a place where I'll get closer to God, and and I'll become more discerning. I don't think I'm discerning enough. There are still some things I still have to ask or still have to understand more, or try and get to know, okay, what is God thinking? I want to actually be able to, okay, even without thinking twice or without too much looking for Bible quotes, I want to know what God is actually thinking exactly. So yeah, so that's basically where I see myself in five
Wow.
years.
Wow. I say congratulations in advance, and I wish
Thank
you so
you.
much more than everything you've said.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for being on the SA show today. Before we call it a day, what else would you like to say, and what advice do you have for young girls or young guys that are younger than you based on your life experience?
That's usually hard because it is usually a
In
whole
30
lot to
seconds.
say.
In 30 seconds.
Okay, I would just say continue to develop yourself, continue to read, understand the power of choice. Like I said earlier, understand that you have the power to part or to make your life good or better, and understand the power of choice. Whatever you do not like, do not choose. Understand that if you mean no, if you want no, you can actually get no, and nobody can force you to do what you don't want to do. Also, I would encourage people to read books. Reading exposed me to a whole lot of things. Reading made me very intentional with my life. Read books, have mentors, just enjoy your life. If you're single, enjoy being single. If you're married, enjoy being married. Just choose happiness and just choose God too. Pray and know God too. Yeah.
Wow, this is amazing. Thank you so much. It has been an absolute privilege and honor to have you on board today. And I wish you continued success. To our audience, I say thank you for always tuning in.
Thank
And
you.
until next time, I would say be exceptional, be intentional, and be on point. Bye-bye.
Bye.